Here are some samples of glass pitchers that were collected for Tennessee, and these date back from the 1800s. This little thing right here is a pill bottle. And these are some things for cooking utensils. This would have been a coffee grinder. They would have put the coffee in that little, in the top, and then they would grind it, and it would go into that little container on the bottom. And this is a meat juice press. I don't really know why somebody would want juice out of meat, but they do. Here's a cherry stoner. And that's a bit automatic. Oh my gosh, they had a potato peeler back then too that they would crank. These are, I don't think they're real. I think they have to be fake. That's an ostrich egg, and that's a hen egg in the middle and an emu egg on the end. And these are some of the toys. These are some toys that the kids would have. They used to make corn husk dolls for the little girls because they didn't throw things away, or they could also make dolls out of material. Here are some little hammers and axes that they would make for the little boys to play with. Let's see. Oh, here they had, this is a chalkboard, or I guess they would call it slate. That was slate. They didn't have paper and pens and pencils back then. So when kids would go to school, they would take the slate and they used to write on the slate, and then they would erase it. And they would use it over and over and over again. And here's some more corn husk dolls. And this is an old-fashioned book, like the ABCs. And this would have been a homemade little rocking thing. The little child would sit inside there between the two horses and rock. And this was an old handmade wagon.
I know what it is. Come over here.
What?
Some other features that go with the wagon. You forgot to tell them about this.
Inside the wagon, we talked about these, the hinges on there.
Yeah, the hinges.
We talked about that. There's some things in the wagon. Here's a coffin that's in the wagon, which we found kind of strange that they'd have here, but that's a coffin that's in there. And then they got the hay bale and a little trunk. So it's just showing a variety of things that could be carried in that wagon.
And what is this?
This is a groundhog thresher. So, I don't know, Jack, what that means. A groundhog thresher. I don't know. Honestly, I just don't know what that is.
Let's see what others got with us.
Okay.
At our tour.
Okay.
Okay, let's see if we
What about
miss.
those buggies back over there? Oh, here. We'll go over here for the shoes. Some people used to have to make their own shoes. And this was a form of a foot that they would put the leather around. And when people got shoes made, they didn't make right shoes or left shoes. They had to put the shoes on, and then as they would get wet, they would eventually form to their feet, and they would then become a left foot or a right foot. So shoes didn't fit very well back then. That was a shoemaking vice. Joseph Smith used this handmade vise to make or repair shoes on his family farm in Nolensville, Tennessee. So that was from Nolensville. And here are some of the tools that he would use. That's samples that he would have of the leather cut out for the size of somebody's foot. These are some of the buggies that families would use. These were the luckier families, because that looks like a pretty nice buggy with a top on it to shield them from the sun. These are just some of the things they're selling at the Ag Center. They've got quills, and they've got soap, and they've got some jewelry. These are horseshoes, and these are heirloom seeds. These are heirloom seeds that can be purchased. Oh, and here's a collection of all the horseshoes that can be sold as decorations. Okay. These were from Tennessee's first farmers. So some of these are the stone implements that they used to use. These are arrow points. And these would be axe handles. Let's see, here are some feathers. Oh, and there's a deer hide, Jack. See that?
Mm-hmm.
The deer hide that they would use. Let's see that pole. I'm not sure what that pole would be for. This is just an old jar, and they date that from the 1300s. Oh, look at this one. This is an old water or seed bottle, and that one's from the 1200s. And here's the old corn husks. Oh, and before, you know that metal thing I showed you in the kitchen with the pointy things that came out from the nail and you could grind the nut on it?
Yeah.
Remember that? Well, before they had that, look at what they did here. They put the nut inside a rock. They would find a rock with a hole in it, and they kept turning the nut around. Oh, that would have been hard. And that's how they were able to grind that nut up. My gosh. And they said they used to make it into bread.
That's all, kids.